The battle footage played again inside the wide chamber of the Galactic Council. Light filled the air as images floated above a round platform. Ruined buildings burned under a gray sky. Broken towers leaned like tired giants. Smoke rolled across the ground, hiding fallen machines and shattered armor. Alien leaders watched in silence. The footage showed a small group of humans trapped inside a destroyed city. They were surrounded on all sides. Enemy forces were larger, stronger, and better armed. Logic said the humans should retreat. Logic said they should surrender. They did not. The humans moved forward instead. One human, a tall man with a cracked helmet, stood at the front. His name was Ethan Cole. Blood ran from a cut above his eye. His breathing was heavy, but his hands did not shake. He raised his rifle and gave a short signal with his hand. The humans around him nodded. Then they charged. Several alien council members shifted in their seats. Some clicked their mandibles. Others flicked their tails in discomfort. High Observer Talrek slowed the footage. The image froze on Ethan Cole's face. Dirt covered his skin. Fear was clear in his eyes. "This one," Talrek said. "He is afraid. We can see it. Yet he advances. Why?" No one answered. Another council member, a thin being with glowing eyes, leaned forward. "Perhaps humans do not understand fear as we do." "Understand." "Understand." Talrek shook his head. "Our analysts disagree. Humans show all signs of fear. Elevated heart rate, shaking muscles, rapid breathing. Yet their actions do not change." The footage continued. Explosions rocked the street. Humans fell, but others took their place. When one human dropped his weapon, another picked it up. When one screamed in pain, another pulled him behind cover. The council watched as a human woman, later identified as Lisa Brown, dragged a wounded soldier across open ground. Energy blasts struck the road around her. She did not stop. The footage ended with the enemy retreating. The humans did not chase. They simply sat among the ruins, breathing hard, helping their wounded. Silence filled the chamber. "This battle makes no sense," Talrek said. "They should have broken." The council agreed on one thing. They needed answers. Far from the council chamber, on a damaged frontier world, Ethan Cole stood inside a half-collapsed building. The walls were cracked. Dust covered the floor. Broken equipment lay in piles. Ethan leaned against a pillar and removed his helmet. His hands trembled now. He wiped sweat from his face and let out a slow breath. Fear finally caught up with him. Jack Morris sat nearby, cleaning his rifle. "You good?" Jack asked. Ethan nodded. "Yeah, just need a minute." Jack gave a small smile. Lisa Brown moved through the room, checking on the wounded. Her face was calm, but her eyes showed exhaustion. She knelt beside a young soldier and spoke softly, telling him to breathe and stay awake. Outside, the wind carried the smell of smoke and metal. None of them felt fearless. Not one. But they were still standing. Later that day, a message arrived from orbit. An alien diplomatic ship requested permission to land. It was the first time since the war began. Ethan listened as the transmission played. The voice on the other end sounded careful, almost nervous. "Human commander," the voice said. "We wish to observe. We wish to understand." Ethan looked at Lisa. She raised an eyebrow. "Understand? What?" Ethan replied into the device. "You're clear to land." The alien delegation arrived hours later. Their ship was smooth and silver, untouched by battle. It settled outside the ruined city, far from the smoke. 3 aliens stepped out. They were tall and thin, with long limbs and pale skin. Their movements were slow and measured. "Ethan," Lisa, and Jack met them near the edge of the ruins. "I am Envoy Sorel," the lead alien said. "We watched your battle." Jack crossed his arms. "Yeah, so did the enemy." Sorel tilted his head. "We do not understand why you fought." Lisa answered before Ethan could. "Because we had to." Sorel's eyes narrowed slightly. "Your chances of survival were low. Retreat was logical." Ethan nodded. "Maybe, but retreat would have left others behind." "Others?" Sorel asked. Ethan pointed toward the city. The aliens exchanged looks. "You knew you might die," Sorel said. Jack laughed softly. "Yeah, we knew. And yet you advanced," Sorel said. Lisa looked at the alien. "Fear doesn't stop you from caring." Sorel was silent. They were escorted into the city. As they walked, the aliens saw humans clearing rubble, sharing water, and carrying the injured. Some humans smiled at them. Others barely noticed them at all. One alien stopped near a fallen human soldier. The body was covered with a simple cloth. Beside it lay a small metal tag. "You honor your dead," the alien said. Ethan nodded. "They matter." The alien touched the tag gently. "Fearless beings do not mourn." Ethan looked at him. That night, the alien delegation observed quietly. They watched humans sit together, talking in low voices. Some laughed. Some cried. Some stared into the dark. Sorel recorded everything. In orbit, the Galactic Council received the first report. "Humans display fear constantly," Sorel transmitted, "yet they do not allow it to control them." Talrek read the report slowly. "They fight because of bonds," Sorel continued. "Not because of instinct or command. They choose to stand." The council grew uneasy. Back on the surface, Ethan lay on a thin mat, staring at the ceiling. Sleep did not come easily. Every sound made his muscles tense. Fear was still there. It always was. But so was something stronger. Outside, the stars burned quietly above the ruined city. The war was far from over, and the galaxy was just beginning to understand humans. The sun rose over the ruined city, turning the smoke to gold. Humans moved carefully among the broken streets. They were quiet now, but the tension in the air had not left. The enemy could return at any moment. The alien delegation remained on the outskirts, observing every action. Ethan Cole gathered his squad near the remains of a crumbled building. Jack Morris checked his rifle again. Lisa Brown moved among the wounded, offering water and medicine. The city was a graveyard of machines, rubble, and human courage. "We need to set patrols," Ethan said. "If they come back, we must be ready." Jack nodded. "I can take a group to the east. No surprises." Ethan looked at Lisa. "You stay with the medics. We may need you fast." The aliens watched silently. Sorel, the lead envoy, stepped forward. "Human commander, why split your forces? The enemy is larger. You risk defeat." Ethan looked at the alien. "We adapt. We move fast. We cover each other. Retreat is not always an option, and surrender is not an answer." The alien hesitated. "We do not understand. Logic dictates you would hide together in safety. Why risk more lives?" "Because we fight for each other," Ethan said. "That is our logic." The patrols moved out. Jack's group went to the east. Ethan led another group to the west. The aliens followed at a safe distance. Their movements were careful, precise, controlled. They did not understand why humans seemed reckless. As Jack's team moved down a narrow street, a sudden explosion tore through the building beside them. Debris fell like rain. A young human soldier, Daniel, was trapped under a large beam. "Help him!" Jack shouted. Two soldiers ran forward. Bullets ricocheted around them. Jack stayed behind cover, firing at enemies in the distance. Daniel cried out. His leg was pinned. Blood soaked his uniform. Jack shouted again. "Hold still, Daniel. We've got you." Another soldier, Rachel, grabbed the beam with all her strength. Sweat poured down her face. Slowly, they lifted it enough for Daniel to crawl free. "You okay?" Rachel asked. Daniel nodded, trembling. "Thanks. I thought I was done." Jack patted his shoulder. "You're not done." "Not yet." The aliens observed silently. They noted the fear on the humans' faces, the shaking, the heavy breathing. Yet, they acted without hesitation. The humans risked their lives, even when they were afraid. On the west side, Ethan's team encountered another problem. A squad of enemy drones moved silently through the ruins. Ethan signaled his team to hide. "Wait for my signal," he whispered. The drones scanned the streets. One turned, almost spotting Ethan. His heart raced. He could feel fear building in his chest. His hands were sweaty, yet he did not move until the right moment. "Now!" Ethan shouted. The humans fired. The drones were destroyed in seconds. One human had a scratch on his arm. Another took a small burn from an explosion. They checked each other quickly and kept moving. Sorrel, the alien observer, whispered to his assistant, "They are terrified, yet they fight. Their survival instincts should prevent this, but they advance anyway." The aliens followed the humans through the city. They saw soldiers helping civilians trapped in buildings. They saw humans sharing food, water, and blankets with people they barely knew. They saw laughter and encouragement, even in the middle of chaos. Ethan called a short meeting at an abandoned plaza. His squad gathered around him, tired and dusty. "We've lost people," he said softly. "We will lose more. But we keep moving. We fight because someone has to. Someone has to stand and protect the weak. That is why we are here." The aliens watched closely. Sorrel's assistant recorded every word. They did not understand the emotions behind the words. Humans were complex, unpredictable. As night fell, Jack's group set up a temporary camp. They built small walls with rubble and debris. Fires burned, giving warmth and light. Humans shared stories, trying to keep spirits up. Some laughed at small jokes. Others stared quietly into the flames. Daniel, the young soldier, sat with Rachel. "I don't know how you stay so calm," he said. "I'm scared all the time." Rachel smiled faintly. "We are all scared. We just do what must be done anyway." Jack added, "Fear is part of it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward even with fear." The aliens looked at each other. "This is illogical," one said. "Fear should stop them." But it does not. Back on the west side, Ethan's team discovered a small group of civilians hiding in the ruins. A mother held her child tightly, eyes wide with terror. Ethan knelt beside them. "We will get you to safety," he said. The mother shook her head. "It is too dangerous." "Not for us," Ethan replied. "Stay close. We protect you." They moved slowly through the streets. Enemy patrols were nearby, but humans found cover and guided the civilians silently. One small mistake could mean death, but none hesitated. Fear was present, but it did not control them. By morning, both groups returned to the central meeting point. The aliens followed cautiously. Cyril observed the humans, helping each other, carrying the wounded, and checking the supplies. The aliens whispered among themselves. "They are not fearless," Cyril said, "but they act as if they are." Ethan met with the aliens in the open plaza. "You've seen our city," he said. "You've seen our soldiers. We are not special. We are not fearless. We are human. Yet your actions are extraordinary. Sorel replied. We struggle to comprehend your logic. Ethan shrugged. There is no secret. We fight for each other. That is all. We do not abandon anyone. We do not surrender, unless every choice is lost. We do not leave the battlefield, because it is the right thing to do, because it is what humans do. The aliens were silent. They had recorded every movement, every word, every moment. Their reports would take hours to process. They still could not explain the courage of humans. Jack approached Ethan. They don't get it, do they? No, Ethan said. But they will try. One day, they will understand. Or maybe, they never will. Doesn't matter. We do what we must anyway. As the humans rested for a brief time, an alarm sounded. Distant explosions echoed across the ruins. Enemy forces had returned, larger than before. Ethan and Jack immediately took command. Humans ran to positions. Weapons ready. Civilians were moved behind cover. The aliens froze, unsure if they should help or stay out of danger. The humans did not hesitate. They advanced toward the enemy, firing, dodging, and protecting each other. The aliens watched in disbelief as humans charged, some even taking hits to save a comrade. Lisa Brown ran through the chaos, pulling the wounded to safety. A blast threw her against a wall, but she got up and continued. Fear burned in her chest, but she ignored it. Cyril whispered, "How can they do this? Fear should paralyze them." Yet, they move forward. Ethan signaled Jack. Split left and right. Cover the civilians. Keep the line strong. They moved like one body, reacting faster than machines could predict. Humans were injured, but they refused to fall. They laughed briefly at a joke, shouted encouragement, and comforted those in pain. The aliens could only watch, recording, and trying to make sense. The battle continued until night fell. Humans held their positions. The enemy retreated again, surprised by the coordination and resilience of such a small force. Cyril finally spoke to Ethan. "We have never seen anything like this. Humans, you do not fear like others, yet you do feel it. You act regardless. It is impossible." Ethan wiped blood from his face. "We are not impossible. We are human. And humans fight because we must, not because we are unafraid." The aliens stayed near the city, watching as humans cared for their wounded and rebuilt barricades. They took notes and transmitted everything to the Galactic Council. For the humans, the day ended quietly. They were tired, hurt, and scared, but they were alive, and they were together. The aliens had more questions than answers, and the war was far from over. Yet one thing was clear. Humans could not be understood by logic alone. Courage, loyalty, and choice defined them. And those qualities would shape the battles yet to come. The stars shone above the ruined city. The humans slept, briefly and fitfully. Their hearts were full of fear and hope alike. Tomorrow, they would rise again, and the aliens would continue to watch, still in disbelief. The sky above the ruined city was dark and heavy with clouds. The wind carried dust and the smell of smoke. Humans moved carefully among the debris, repairing barricades and checking weapons. The enemy had returned overnight, larger and more organized. They would attack at first light. Ethan Cole stood on a small rise, surveying the city. He could see broken buildings, fallen machines, and scattered fires. The ground trembled slightly as distant artillery fired. Humans and aliens prepared together, though the aliens still seemed uncertain. "Listen up," Ethan called to his squad. "Today is not about winning easily. It's about surviving, protecting each other, and standing our ground. We will hold this city as long as we can. Do not run. Do not leave anyone behind. Understand? Yes, sir, his team replied. Jack Morris tightened the strap on his rifle. Lisa Brown knelt beside a young soldier. Michael. He was trembling. You're scared. That's okay, she said. Just do your job. We're here with you. Outside the walls, the enemy moved into position. Alien observers watched silently, noting the humans' preparations. They whispered among themselves, confused by the calm determination they saw. Why do they not panic? One asked. Sorrel, the lead alien, shook his head. Fear is present. We see it. Yet they act as if they are fearless. It is baffling. Dawn broke. The enemy fired first. Explosions rocked the streets. Dust and smoke rose. Humans returned fire immediately. The sound of guns and machinery filled the air. Ethan led a squad down a narrow street, using rubble for cover. Bullets whizzed past. His heart raced. He felt fear. The same fear he had felt before, but he ignored it. He signaled his team forward. A group of civilians huddled behind a broken wall. Ethan pointed at them. Stay low. We'll get you out. 2 soldiers, Rachel and Daniel, ran through the fire, guiding the civilians to safety. One was hit in the leg, but they kept moving. Fear was strong in all of them, but they did not stop. Jack's squad took a side street, flanking the enemy. They fired and moved fast. One soldier, Lisa, dragged a wounded comrade behind cover while returning fire. Sparks from energy blasts lit her face. She was terrified, but she fought anyway. The aliens watched with wide eyes. They noted every movement, every decision. Humans adapted quickly. They did not follow patterns or predictable tactics. They improvised, helping each other and covering weak points. Cyril whispered, They are not machines, yet their coordination is perfect. How can this be? Right? Ethan spotted a group of enemy drones heading toward civilians. He shouted, Cover me! And ran into open ground. Bullets hit the ground around him. He grabbed a young girl and pulled her to safety. He felt the fear clawing at his chest, but kept moving. The humans nearby covered him, firing at the enemy drones. After the drones were destroyed, Ethan helped the girl to her mother. The mother hugged her child tightly. Ethan felt the fear that had been building, but he also felt pride. He was alive. The girl was alive. They had made it. The battle continued. Explosions shook the streets. Humans ran through fire and debris, dragging the injured and helping each other. Some laughed briefly to keep their minds from fear. Some shouted encouragement. Some comforted those crying. Fear was everywhere, but it did not stop them. Jack saw a soldier trapped under a collapsed wall. He ran toward him, dodging fire. His own arm was grazed, but he ignored it. He lifted the rubble with help from another soldier and freed the trapped man. Come on, we've got you, he said. The soldier nodded, tears in his eyes. Fear was strong, but he moved forward. On the other side, Ethan's squad encountered a large enemy unit. They were outnumbered. Ethan took a deep breath. He felt fear, like a weight on his chest. Yet he signaled his team. We hold here. No one falls back. Everyone covers someone else. The humans fought with precision. They moved quickly, helping each other, and improvising as the battle changed. A human soldier, Daniel, threw himself in front of a blast to shield a comrade. Another, Rachel, ran across open ground to give water to the wounded. Fear was present in every movement, but courage won over. The aliens could not understand. They had studied war for centuries. They had seen armies trained for years. Yet none of them acted like humans. Humans fought through fear, and their actions inspired others. Ethan saw a group of enemy soldiers preparing to ambush from the rooftops. He ran toward them, shouting warnings. His squad followed, covering his advance. Bullets flew past him. His heart raced. He felt fear, but it did not stop him. Together, they neutralized the ambush. Lisa ran past him, helping a wounded soldier. Her uniform was torn, her face bloody, but she moved with determination. She smiled at Ethan briefly. "We've got this," she said. Fear was there, but it did not control her. The battle lasted all morning. Humans were wounded. Some fell. Some were burned or cut. Yet they kept moving. They adapted, covered each other, and refused to surrender. Their fear was strong, but their loyalty to each other was stronger. The aliens whispered among themselves. Sorrel spoke quietly. "We have never seen courage like this. They are not fearless, but they act as if they are. It is impossible." Ethan's squad found a group of civilians hiding in a destroyed building. He guided them out through a side alley. The civilians were scared, shaking, and crying. Ethan held the hand of a small boy. "You're safe now," he said. Fear was there, but he ignored it. He moved forward, leading them to safety. Jack's team covered their retreat. Bullets struck the walls and ground near them. Jack felt fear in his chest, but he stayed focused. He looked at his squad. "We hold them off. No one dies alone." The aliens continued to record everything. They saw humans laugh at small jokes, even while being shot at. They saw humans comfort each other, even when exhausted and bleeding. Fear existed, but humans acted anyway. Ethan finally regrouped with Jack and the rest of the squad. They were tired, bleeding, and scared. Yet they were alive. The enemy had been pushed back, at least for now. The city was still in their hands. "We survived," Ethan said quietly. "We're not fearless. We just do what must be done." Lisa knelt beside the wounded, giving water and checking injuries. "Fear doesn't stop us," she said. "Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward anyway." The aliens recorded every word. Sorrel whispered, "They fight for each other. That is why they are unstoppable. Fear does not control them. Loyalty does." The humans set up defensive positions, repaired barricades, and cared for their wounded. The enemy might return, stronger this time, but humans were ready. Their fear existed, but it could not stop them. As night fell, the city was quiet, but alert. Humans sat around small fires, tending injuries and sharing stories. Laughter mixed with sighs of exhaustion. Fear was part of life, but it did not rule them. Cyril and the alien delegation remained nearby, watching silently. They still did not understand. Humans were not fearless, yet they acted as if they were. Every human had fear. Every human wanted to survive, yet they risked their lives for each other. Ethan looked at the stars above the city. He could feel fear in his chest, but he also felt hope. Humans were strong, not because they were unafraid, but because they chose courage over fear. The aliens would take this lesson to the Galactic Council. They would report what they saw. Humans were different, unpredictable, dangerous, yes, but also extraordinary. And the humans of the ruined city would fight again. They would face fear, injury, and death. Yet they would not abandon each other. They would stand, even when hope seemed lost. The battle was far from over. The war was not finished. Yet humans showed the galaxy a truth that no logic could explain. Courage was not the absence of fear. It was choice. And humans chose it every day. The stars shone cold above the city. The humans rested, briefly, catching their breath, tending the injured, and preparing for the next day. Their hearts were full of fear, but also full of something stronger: determination, loyalty, and courage. The aliens watched, still in disbelief, knowing they had seen something they would never forget. The dawn broke slowly over the ruined city. Smoke from fires of the previous battle still rose in thin gray columns. Humans moved quietly, but quickly. They checked weapons, repaired barricades, and tended the wounded. The enemy would return, stronger this time, yet no one panicked. Fear was there, but it did not control them. Ethan Cole walked among his squad. Jack Morris, Lisa Brown, and others followed, helping where they could. Ethan stopped by a small group of civilians huddled behind rubble. He handed water to a child. "You'll be safe," he said. Fear was in their eyes, but he gave them hope. He felt fear too, but he refused to let it slow him. Cyril and the alien delegation stood at the edge of the city. They had been observing for days, recording every detail. They still did not understand humans. "Why do they act as if fear is nothing?" one alien asked. "Because it is not nothing," Cyril replied. "They feel it. They live with it. Yet they move forward anyway. It is extraordinary." As the sun rose higher, the enemy appeared. A massive force of soldiers and machines advanced across the plains outside the city. They had learned from previous attacks and came prepared. Explosions began again, shaking the city. Dust and smoke filled the streets. Ethan called out orders. "Cover the civilians. Hold your positions. No one falls alone." Humans moved with purpose. Soldiers helped the wounded to cover. Civilians were guided to safer areas. Jack's squad flanked the enemy, firing from rooftops and behind rubble. Lisa moved quickly between groups, tending injuries while avoiding blasts. One soldier, Daniel, was hit in the arm. He fell to the ground, crying in pain. Rachel ran to him, supporting him while firing at the enemy with her other hand. Fear was strong, but they did not stop. Each human acted to protect another. The aliens watched silently. Cyril whispered, "We have never seen a species fight like this. They are terrified, yet they move as if they are fearless. It is not logic. It cannot be reasoned." Ethan led a squad down a narrow alley to intercept an enemy unit trying to reach civilians. Bullets hit the walls around him. Sparks flew as metal and stone shattered. He felt fear climbing in his chest, but he pushed it down. Each step, each decision, was driven by choice, not by absence of fear. The humans fought in small groups. They communicated quickly with hand signals and short words. They covered each other and adapted when the enemy changed tactics. One human, Alex, threw himself across a fallen comrade to shield him from fire. Another, Lisa, ran across open ground to carry a wounded soldier to safety. Fear was everywhere, but courage was stronger. The battle lasted for hours. Humans were exhausted. Some were injured badly. Some cried in pain. Yet, they continued to fight. They moved forward even when it seemed impossible. They refused to abandon anyone. They refused to surrender. Fear existed in every heartbeat, but it did not rule them. Cyril and the aliens recorded everything. They whispered to each other in disbelief. "We cannot calculate this behavior," one said. "They should have broken. They should have run. Yet, they do not." As the enemy began to retreat, Ethan and Jack regrouped their squad. The city was battered, but it still stood. Humans were bloodied, and tired. Some leaned against walls, panting and bleeding. Others tended the wounded. All of them had fear in their hearts, yet none had failed. Ethan looked at his squad. "We survived," he said quietly. "We are not fearless. We are human. Fear is part of us, but it does not control us." Lisa nodded. "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward anyway." The aliens took the humans' words back to the Galactic Council. Humans fight through fear. They do not hide. They do not surrender. They protect each other. Logic cannot explain it fully. Loyalty and choice drive them. Cyril added, "They are not fearless, but their courage is real. It is not instinct alone. It is decision. And that makes them extraordinary." Work. Back in the city, Ethan walked among the wounded. He helped Rachel tie a bandage and gave water to Daniel. Fear was still inside him, but he had learned to work with it. He had learned that courage was stronger than fear when humans chose to act together. The aliens continued to observe. They noticed humans laughing even in danger, shouting encouragement, comforting the scared, and helping the injured. They noticed humans refusing to leave anyone behind. They saw fear in every face, but courage in every action. The day ended with humans regrouping. They sat quietly around fires, tending wounds and sharing food. Conversations were soft, sometimes broken by tears. Some laughed at small stories. Fear was there in every heart. Yet humans had survived another day. Ethan looked up at the stars above the city. He could feel fear still, deep and strong. Yet he also felt hope. Humans had faced overwhelming odds, yet they remained. They had fought through fear to protect each other. They had survived, and they had shown what humans truly were. The aliens left the city, carrying their reports to the council. The galactic leaders would debate, question, and try to understand. They would say, humans were reckless. They would say humans were illogical. But the humans had already proven one truth. Courage was not the absence of fear. It was choice. And humans chose it every day. Ethan, Jack, Lisa, and their squad moved through the ruins. They carried the injured, repaired barricades, and prepared for the future. Fear was strong, but it did not stop them. Loyalty and courage guided their actions. They were human, and the galaxy had never seen anything like them. As night fell, the city was quiet. Humans slept fitfully, dreaming of the battles and the friends they had saved. Fear remained, but it had been tempered by action, choice, and trust. They would rise again at dawn. The enemy might return, but humans would stand. The stars above burned bright and cold. The aliens watched silently. They had seen humans in war, and their disbelief had turned into respect. Humans were not fearless. They were human, and that was more powerful than any alien logic could understand. The war would continue, and battles would rage. Yet the humans of the ruined city had shown the galaxy a lesson no one would forget. Fear did not define them. Courage, loyalty, and the choice to act did. And so, humans stood. They would fight again. They would protect each other. They would survive. Fear was part of them, but it would never control them. They were human, and the galaxy would remember their courage forever.